you get kicked in the fucking face.
In the next bubble screen over here, let's throw curls.
What are the whys, right? What are the whys?
There's our live.
32 is the identity.
Yeah, you look at the tape. So as a coach, your resume is the tape.
Loses the football. Strip sack and
Bears our live.
Give me some fucking
Bears
names.
our live. We go on live right after Bears games with your boys draft dots and the smartest man alive. Yo, Bears our live.
Son of a bitch, you better block.
Bears our live. We go on live right after Bears games with your boys draft talk and the smartest man alive. Rant up with the true analysis. You expect raw passion for the show.
You
Bears
saw
fans
the
get
growth in
locked
Justin
in with real
Fields.
emotion and passion for every play. Coach Phil to bring that range, but then with facts like shade. Post game show like nothing else you're gonna hear. Some can try to copy, but a bucket's not sincere. Delivering the truth on what just happened, to be clear. That's why we're on TV, so you can see it, not just hear. Hey yo, with Draft Dr. Phil, you know it's always hit sticks. True to fundamentals, never gimmicks and tricks. Guess we're moving Soldier Field up to Arlington Heights. Mill out and bust while the mayor big fights. Our life keeps growing, Shane's all knowing. Delivering the truth on how the QB's throwing. Dimes on time, or just lacking fundamental. Whatever the case, we get hot like Cecil. Fiery discussion on what happened in the game. This ain't your daddy's postgame, so expect the fucking flame. Not for the average fan, I love they can survive.
But don't you worry.
Bears Hour Live.
Bears our life. Bears our life. We go
Let him sit his ass there again.
I don't think we're that much worse.
the myth, the Rant legend, Draft Dr. Phil Otoshun.
This is football, baby. Culture is the problem. Let's get on little things. Bears our life. Bears our
Son of a bitch, you better
life.
block.
Our life.
That's what happens. That's when you have a real
Right
good team.
after Bears
And let's
games
get it
with
on.
your boys draft talk and the smartest.
Give me some fucking names. This
Get the fuck out of bed, bitch. Go. Get up, and get the guy go.
Breaking news. The tape never lies. Network breaking news. Here we are back. Bears Hour Live. Right here with you. What a game. To start us off in the preseason, what a game by your Chicago Bears. And that's how you want to see your start to a season. I don't care that it's a glorified scrimmage or not. The reality is the Chicago Bears obviously came out there, and I had some questions, and I'll get into that right now. Who is Matt Eberflus? Like, what is this guy? And who, as a coach, the team is a reflection of you. So today I wanted to see a passion, a pride come out. I wanted to see the Chicago Bears showcase a little bit of the personality of the head coach. And I think hats off to Coach Eberflus right there, because I kind of got a taste of what this season is going to be kicking off to. A lot of people can poo-poo, a lot of analysts and talking heads will poo-poo things and say I'm a little too critical or a little too much. But the reality is, as the Bears try to put a bow on this, whether they win or lose doesn't matter to me right this second. I wanted to see a team come out here and play with passion and pride, toughness. Now, we saw some of the errors skew their heads with Velus Jones, and you know, a zebra doesn't change it. You got to be smarter than that. If you're playing special teams, that ball is like a diamond, and you're going to have to get under it and understand if it takes a high bounce, then you're going to have to get away from it because it's just what football intelligence does and tells you. Unfortunately, Velus did what we were concerned with him doing, and that's fumble the football and create a turnover. So some things don't change. Some of the things that I saw out there did change is, Travis Gibson, best player on the field today, in my notes. And this is a big showcase, middle finger to polls, pay, whoever came up with, or it's genius, however you want to look at it, because I don't know the politics behind the scene here for coach and the defense. But Travis Gibson came here to tell you, I'm the starting defensive end opposite Ngakoue. It's me. It's not Dominique Robinson, as the wide receiver's wide open and drops the ball, thankfully. And I think we all have to tip the hat to Travis Gibson, because football and preseason and these games, when the lights come on, this is when we decide who stood out, who is stepping up. We can go through 5,000 drills, but when it's game time, who's a gamer? And that's what Travis Gibson showcased today. And I'm proud of that. Also, the partner in crime, Shane, myself, talked about the Bears interception, game over. And that's how you want to start preseason. But Terrell Lewis also showcasing what we talked about if you were a patron since January leading up to the draft. Here's a guy you sign. This is an edge rusher. This is a pass rusher. This is Roosevelt Colvin-like guy that's not a linebacker. He's an edge rusher, and he also showing up today. I saw the first team defensive end unit. Again, this should be all in pencil. And I can see, I'm sure some of you, I don't have any producers here today, but I could see Terrell Lewis and Travis Gibson are a little bit higher up on the food chain in regards to God-given ability than Dominique Robinson and Green. And you know how I feel about that. Other guys that showed up for me, my Bear Up eyeball was on Stevenson this week, if you watch Keeping It 100. And sure enough, you talk about a guy that is around the football and isn't afraid to put his face in there. Tyreek Stevenson is giving everything he has each and every play. He obviously really stood out. I want to focus on the positive before I go into any negative. Stevenson, Kyler Gordon. Only criticism I have of Gordon is he wasn't listening to future FBI boss Peanut Tillman. When you get a free clean swipe at the football, come in and punch that ball down. I know the ball ended up coming out, but he dropped his pads. Again, coaching point. Don't want to take away the fact that Kyler Gordon looks a hell of a lot more comfortable in his position, confident, and was flying around the football. Had he knocked that ball loose, I think a lot more people would be talking about him. But I'm just going off what I saw again. They don't give us preseason coaches tape. But I will tell you that Kyler Gordon stood out to me with Stevenson. So there's two guys in your secondary that have stepped up. Again, another guy that Rashawn Johnson and Travis Homer both showed me a lot of ability and twitchiness in the hole, whether they're going with the second team, third team. I just want to see their instincts and their ability. I know the broadcast pointed out Rashawn Johnson effortlessly catching the football. That was exactly what I was saying. In that moment, you just saw his ability to snatch the football. So he really, both Travis Homer looks twitchy, finding the cutback lane, very strong in contact. I think he's going to be pissed off at himself for allowing that shoestring twist tackle on that cutback run. I think he would have been gone. How about my guy, the rookie defensive tackles? 2 of them. Travis Bell, obviously later in the game, but guy that I really, really loved the drafting of, stood out not only in the pass pro and getting a sack, but also what he did in the ugly game inside was Pickens. I mean, you got to be excited about what he's doing inside. Very good looking football player there. Again, I'm focusing on the positives. This kid Collins, the offensive tackle, undrafted free agent from TCU, really impressed me playing the right tackle position. I am going to continue to watch him through this preseason, these next few games. I felt like he really balled out there tonight. I know he came up limp a little bit, but I think he went back in the game, or it was a switch up and he was going out. But I'll tell you what, I'm going to keep an eye on Mr. Collins. Baskerville, the linebacker, instincts, tackling awareness, coming out, reading the game. Sanborn showing me instincts at the linebacker and close. He got held one time there. Did look a little slow on one play. I think he was confused in there. But other than that, I really loved the ability there. Alfred, I'm going to get into the chats, but the NFL Plus will not give us preseason coaches tape. They only give you in-season coaches tape. Another guy that I felt stood out, has improved, was Elijah Hicks, being in the right place as well as not being tentative or lacking that toughness in the alley or confused, pitter-patting of the feet, questioning. He was going full speed out there. You could see another year in this defense has got him playing faster, more confident as a football player. So the 2 defensive tackles, the rookies, Bell, Pickens, obviously Gibson, best player on the field. I was saying that once his first couple series, I was like hoping he would get to the quarterback so he'd be talked about, because I saw that he was dominating and he really did a great job. Obviously, only short time, but I saw I formation, first play of the game. So hats off to you, Getsy, running one of my favorite plays here. Heavy pass with the fullback flaring into the flat, got the big drag coming across and the flag route over the top. Justin finds it, hits our guy, Blazing Game, who turns up the field and sets the tone. You could take that deep shot. I know Shane and I have been pining for that, but Justin read it right. It was taken away. Dump it down to the fullback. Let him square his shoulders, which Blazing Game did a great job. Obviously, Justin under center, looking sharp. These were the things I wanted to see. How was he going to do under center? His footwork, again, it was an hors d'oeuvre, but I really liked what I saw. I know Shane and I were texting back and forth in the NFL. That was ineligible lineman downfield. I don't care what anyone says on the Herbert screen. The screen was broken up because somebody fell down and allowed pressure too fast. So Justin, being the player he is able to get depth and scramble to the screen side to throw it. That's not how you design it. And then you saw Carter, and let me just tell you, Jenkins, Mooney, and Braxton Jones did a tremendous job on that screen. To be that big, those guys, Braxton, a lot of credit to you. Too, people are going to question whether blocking the back All I know is the big man got there, and Tevin Jenkins and Darnell Mooney were just standouts, as DJ Moore was a walk through the park, but showed that burst of speed and why he's a number one receiver and why everyone's talking about DJ Moore, rightfully so. You could see what he brings to the table. I'm fired up about it. I think the preseason kicks off for the Chicago Bears the right way. With victory, you saw a lot of good things out there, a few things to clean up. And I'm not in a raging mood right now. I'm happy. I'm wearing my sweetness stuff. I'm here for you, the fan. There's 678 of you here. Smash the like button, share it wherever. Bears fans that need to know about this, the best post-game show on the planet. Obviously, Bears victorious here against the Titans to open the preseason and a glorified scrimmage. I don't poo-poo the game, win or lose. I just want to take away positives and negatives. Trevon Dexter is a negative for me. I obviously called him the Bear down this week on Keeping It 100 on Wednesday nights, 8:30 East. The best Bears show on the planet. We're talking about who we were going to watch. Who did we feel like needed to step up and show? I have my concerns. I know there was a lot of people fighting me. Scheme, a zebra doesn't change its stripes for me. Scheme doesn't say be lazy out of stance. A player says that. Scheme doesn't say stand up tall. A player does that. Today, and again, it's his first game. But before you get your panties in a bunch, you nerds, realize that this is my job. And what I saw was a guy standing up, getting bullied back. I don't care how big he was. Pushed back his first play, 6 yards off the ball. It wasn't pretty at all. And then he got gassed. Then he got hurt. And then how is he going to respond to this stuff? He comes back out. He's still standing up. Very concerned about this. This is where the performance over the politics staple is. You see our guy Travis Bell coming in there, and he has no qualms of standing up. Well, he's shorter, Phil. Yeah, he's also a better football player. And that's just the reality. You know, don't ever determine your scouting analysis for you young guys getting into this game by draft positioning. Always watch the tape. Now he's going up against the pros. Tell you what, Pickens and Travis Bell are some finds there. There's also the kid Harris, undrafted. I know Sean Harris's son showed a lot of potential as a pass rusher. Will they build off this? This is where you, as a defensive line coach, have to fight for your guys, the best guys. It doesn't matter what the GM did or the politics of this. There has to be a point in time where you are saying this is priority number one. Just because you put a big investment in it doesn't mean you're going to win every one of those. Hopefully Dexter turns this around, but he was a big letdown for me today. Truly was. Darnell Wright, opposite of that. Positive. There's a toss play out there, and he's blocking 2 guys out there. Then he's on a cutoff. And listen, everyone knows where I stand with Dieter Eisland. I said this, if Carter is a better player than Eisland at guard, and I wish they would give us the coaches tape, because then they would be called onto the carpet. But there's Mr. Carter, Jatari Carter, is getting knocked around, falling down. Again, it's the first preseason game. I'm just looking at it truthfully. Then Eisland goes in at right guard, pancakes the guy on first down, scoop blocks on a toss play, seals it off. Then he's in pass pro. Again, Kramer lets up a sack late. It was more of a coverage sack, but you just see it. So hopefully we see these things that performance is going to rule the day. Performance is going to rule the day. You got to be excited as a Bears fan that anytime you're getting 8 or 9 sacks, what was the official? Because Claudio was supposed to be here, but he pulled a jackal and didn't show. I am back like Gibson. I'm happy to be back here. I don't know if it was 8 or 9 sacks, but you saw the sack game was out there for the Chicago Bears. And hey, that is a complete 180 from last year because there wasn't any sacks. So to start, Raheem Green and Dominique Robinson, and according to my guys that I've spoken to that are at camp, it is clear that Trevis Gibson had been playing better than Dominique Robinson, but maybe they wanted to motivate him by putting him low man on the total pole. Well, today, Trevis Gibson had something to say to Coach Eberflus and Ryan Poles. There's nowhere to hide. And that's how it should be. That's how it should be. There's lots of standouts. There's Michael Williams. Exactly. All right, for Valus, Dexter, PJ Walker. First pass as a Bears intercepted off action. I don't even know where he's throwing that ball. Gotta be weird. Gotta be worried about the backup quarterback position. Then, a positive is Bayesian. Comes in there. Obviously, you see what kind of athleticism. Shane talked about him having a great deep ball. He puts a nice ball down the sidelines to the kid from Northern Iowa who comes down with it on 4th down, making a big play. So those are the things hopefully the Chicago Bears are going to build off of. And that's really what you come into your first scrimmage hoping for. You want to build off of what you saw happening. Now, if you have some thoughts, obviously I don't have anything to rant other than Coach Eberflus getting a check mark in the box of setting the tone of who you're going to be. You guys came out there as the Chicago Bears and defined an emotional presence. That's what I wanted to see. And that's a reflection of the head coach. So that's a great thing. That is a great thing. When you watch the tape, you'll know why I'm never wrong about things I see on the field. Dexter, not good today. Not good. Making plays 6 yards downfield is not a defensive lineman's job. I don't care if he's 21 Google user or if he's 41. The way you win the game is not by standing up. Now, this is the first game. I'm not saying throw him out. I don't even know what you're talking about. Noah Sewell, another guy in my notes, instinctive, always in the right place, came with his pads, showcasing that toughness. It's very instinctive. Gotta like that about him. Gotta like that about him. There's a lot of things out there that you're having to analyze and showcase. So that's what I'm looking at here. If you have something that you want to add, please throw it in the chat and showcase what it is. There was 8 sacks there, as KO Sports was saying. If you have a question or thought, throw it in there. And we could get rid of the Google user. I won't even put his comments up because clearly you want attention. PJ Walker, I don't know if he sucks. I was hoping to see more from PJ, more consistency, a little less carelessness with the football, like diagnose it and Probably. The reality is, I just want to see consistency from your backup quarterback. Make good decisions. Be accurate. If the ball's tipped, that's fine. You put it to the right place. That's great. I just don't think as a veteran you come off action and throw that deep ball to nobody. It should never have gone there. You had under coverage and a safety over the top. You're just bracketed. He's trying to throw. No. Don't agree with it. As far as the Bears, I don't know. Hey, I gotta be an optimist. This is the first game. The first game for them. And I really, really, really think it was a positive. Better than I expected, honestly. Better than I expected. You were able to get your starting quarterback. We didn't callous them. I mean, we didn't bubble wrap them, excuse me. We went out there with our starters and did the thing that I believe, a boxer doesn't wait till the fight. They spar. That's how you get ready for football. You don't sit there. The Chicago Bears have, in the past, had these soft coaches that have bubble wrap. Injury. No. How about the teaching? How about the offense? How about the best way to learn is from mistakes? And if we make them in the preseason, that's good. Because now we have a tool, a device to teach you. This is not our brand of football right here. This is the wrong throw. This is when we're pulling on toss, that tight end's got to scoop and seal that edge. And you teach these things. Cal, you're right. The defensive backs coming up, hitting. There was one play I was disappointed in Kyler Gordon. It was coming to the broadcast side, and Kyler just stops running his feet and waits. That was the only negative thing I saw from Kyler, as well as most of these, starting caliber defensive backs, was that when you're coming, you finish. Don't stop running your feet. Just finish that. It's Caden Whitlow, my boy right there. He's 100% right. You could jump in here, Caden, and produce the show if you want. And take some of these questions. Personal foul on Stevenson was probably mid-season getting the Bears screwed form right there. Terrible. That was terrible. I totally agree. That was the terrible call. Other than Fieldsville, Walker looks suspect. Yeah, he was all over the place, inconsistent. Baelish, Jones, Dexter, some of these guys really have to pick up their game. I don't know if you can put Baelish back there. When does it become like a mental thing? Like that. First of all, let's go back to Baelish. As a coach, ball's up in the air, run under it, and throw your hand up. Now no one could touch you. So you have free reign. If someone bumps into you, there's a flag. So you immediately throw your hand up there twice if you need to and run under it and catch it. But Baelish is running up and at the last second lets it drop. You've made the decision to go catch it. You should have thrown your hand up. He doesn't. So that's the first mistake. Second is lets it hit. And if it hits and it comes to you or comes to the left or the right, you're able to know based on the trajectory of the bounce whether you can play it. You're also looking at the field. If it bounces up over your head, run away from the ball. and yell fire or whatever their call is. He doesn't. He comes in to try to jump and catch it like it's an onside kick. You can't put this shit out there, coach. I'm sorry. You just can't. I hate stuff like that. Jared Perry, it was 9 sacks. What's up, Jared? How are you, bro? 9 sacks. I mean, who can overlook that? Some asshole will. Well, it's the preseason. Well, you were going to be critical if there was no sacks. So you can't have it both ways. You can't have it both ways. That's a really great turnaround. It's something to build off of. Stop being a Google user, a pussy with that shit. My thoughts on the depth, Chris. How are you, Chris? I'm just going to take questions from people. I'm all by myself. Poor Shane. They got him working on Saturdays now. Shout out to you, Shane. Claudio didn't show up if you're just tuning in. There's breaking news. Your thoughts on I love the depth. And I think we're going to get real deep, no pun intended, on this depth and where the Chicago Bears are. Obviously, Isaiah Ford coming in here makes a play. Number 32. Hey, that move at the beginning of the route to separate, that was next level. You can't understand the movement to get open and past and then run through that. Now he catches and kind of stutters, unable to finish, but hey, for a guy you just picked up to do that, so I don't want to overlook guys like that. So the depth on this football team in the secondary, you got some ballers out here. This problem, Terrell Smith, you are a patron. You know how we felt about this kid. Like, this is a potential starter late in the draft. Tyreek Stevenson was a steal in my mind. So now you got 2. Now Jalen Johnson wants a contract, but you got 2 guys that are building into the NFL with confidence, and you got Stroman. You also got Jones. Unbelievable. You got some really good depth. I don't even know. Let me try to ChicagoBears.com. I'm by myself, guys. Trying to produce this. Maybe the Google user can come on from across the pond and help us out. Maybe he can put the coaches, he's on right now, someone says. Coach Eberflus. Let me try to add coach in. Be short. Hold on. I'm trying to do it. I apologize. Those of you want to see it.
Credit to obviously the athleticism of DJ, but and Herbert as well. But it's also guys blocking. Certainly on the first one, I saw Braxton, block the edge there, and I saw Mooney seal it. So it was a really good play by all 3 of those guys.
Coach. Can you believe it?
And you saw the speed of DJ.
How much easier does it make it for Justin when he can get the ball into the hands of some playmakers and not have to do everything himself?
Yeah, you said it. When you have skill, when you increase your skill on your football team, the catch and runs get larger, right? And the stat line looks better. So we're going to continue to do that. And certainly we're going to take our shots down the field as well. But it's a good thing to see. And it's not a real big surprise to anybody that's been around, because we've all seen it in practice. So it's just got to keep working. We got a long way to go.
Now you mentioned Bayless. We haven't seen issues in camp with him.
Thank you.
Did he explain anything to you? Was the game, the win, was there something different that happened today?
Those are 2 short punts. Like I said, the nose was up, so those come out. they come down pretty fast. So he got two of the more difficult ones back to back. So that's a good punter. He's a really good punter, and he can boom them. So we were setting back a little bit because he can bomb them, in the part of the field he was in. So he had to come up, more than he usually would. So just got to use fundamental technique and read that ball before it gets, too high, and then get underneath it.
Terrell Lewis is a guy that's made plays throughout the offseason.
Thanks, Larry.
He's able to do that today, but especially the strip sack, generate a lot of the pressure up.
Yeah, a lot of good plays by him today.
Gotta be
of course,
happy.
He can rush the passer. We
Terrell
know that
Lewis,
for sure.
right?
But the one thing that D-line's got to know that we got to make sure we're on sides, because it was a 3rd and 4 down there, and we jumped off sides, and now it made it 3rd and 2. So that's harder on the play caller, because in 3rd and 4, you're thinking, high percentage pass. You can set your defense up that way, and as soon as it went from third to 4 to 3rd and 2 on the 2, then it's either or. So we got to do a better job. But yeah, he's done a really nice job of rushing the passer.
With Tyreek Stevenson, was it nice to kind of see? You've seen in camp, obviously, seeing competitiveness and physicality in the game situation.
Yeah, I knew that was coming.
So
the reason he's here is because of that, because of his length and because he's physical. And you saw that today. He made a lot of good tackles, crack replace tackle, open field space tackle, even the tackle on the sideline. I think, we have to go look at that. But I thought that was, it was good technique. We'll have to see where it is. He's got to lower his target a little bit maybe, but overall physical, and just he's been wired in the whole time. And it's good to see him.
This is correct.
What's it about DJ since you had him in the building and got to work with him?
I'm never going to go.
Yeah, I just think when you add a playmaker like that to your football team, there's excitement. I mean, just automatic excitement in the whole building. It doesn't matter if you're what side you're playing on, because this guy is special and he can make a lot of things happen. And I would say that his attitude and his personality is very infectious. So he kind of lights up the room when he comes into it. And you guys have interviewed him. You can kind of see that, and that's kind of a cool vibe to have in the in the locker room and with the coaches. And so he brings all that energy to the team.
How much progress have you seen from Zach Pickens? He had a nice sack. He had another tackle for loss. Seemed like he played well today.
Yeah, I think he's focusing on the first task at hand, and that's get off. And I think he's doing that, and that's when he's at his best.
Where's Ryan?
He beats him to the punch, and gets off on the football. Starts his day on the other side of the line of scrimmage. Then good things happen. Because then they're off balance. He can use his hands, use his long arm. So he's learning to do that, and you saw that today in that sack.
This would be a great question.
How do you feel about Darnell Wright, Coach?
How do you feel?
Yeah, I mean, I have to watch the tape, because you're looking at other things a lot of times. I did see a couple snaps where he looked good. He looked good. So we'll see it. Like we said, we'll evaluate every player, go through it, slowly, and then because the players have the day off tomorrow, so we've got a lot of time to make sure we're going through it. And really, it's about the style. We want to make sure that the Chicago Bears are playing with the right effort, the right intensity, being smart at how they play, and then playing with good fundamentals and technique. That's all we're trying to do. We're going to try to help each player, and we'll get each player a couple things to work on this coming week based on this tape, and so he can really hone in and focus on his skill.
What do you hope to take away in terms of the collective of these joint practices? And
Ryan, I totally agree.
Yeah, well, I just think it's great. I've been involved in a lot of these, and I think it's really cool because you get to cover, go against different skill sets. So we've been going against the same guy. DJ's been lining up against Jalen, and he's been lining up against Stevenson and all those. Now we get to line up against Pittman and different guys. And so it's pretty cool. And the guys are those are some good players. And same thing with our offense going against the defense. There's some good players over there, and so it's going to be an exciting week.
I think it's been over a week now with D-Walk and Tremaine and Brisker. Is there any hope for joint practices? And does the fact that it's joint practices maybe a little bit more physical, does that change the decision making with some of those guys coming back?
Yeah, that's a good question. All those guys that we talked about are day by day right now. So we're really focusing on those guys, honing in on those guys, so to speak, to see when they're going to get back. So we're hopeful for that, but we'll see where it goes.
Thanks, guys.
Okay.
Thank you.
There it is, Coach Eberflus. Listen, I have been questioning Coach Eberflus. Who's he going to be and what is he going to stand for? I don't want to hear. Talk is cheap. I'm tired of watching the Chicago Bears lose. I don't know where you stand on that, but I am exhausted watching the Bears lose. So here I am calling it like I see it. Today was a good day. And if you're just tuning in, my partner Shane is currently working and couldn't get out. I'm alone here, breaking down the Chicago Bears victory over the Tennessee Titans in their first preseason, aka scrimmage. And that's what it is. Gotta do things and build off it. PJ, Dexter, some of these guys, Eddie Jackson, as my guy said, missed tackle, getting stiff-armed. I don't like to see that. So all of these things you build on. This is where you make your mistakes. A mistake would have not been playing Justin Fields. They did that. A mistake would come out there and not show that pride and passion. Because I don't care if you're playing preseason scrimmage versus whoever, the Jags, the Titans, throw a name. You better go out there and play your brand, my brand of football if I'm the head coach. And kudos to Coach Eberflus, because those guys came out there, as you guys have been talking about, the defensive backs, the defensive line, 9 sacks, as Jared put it. 9. They can't poo-poo that. Not from a team that won 3 games last year and had the pass rush of the Barcelona Dragons, for God's sake. I wasn't able to see the beginning, but was Dexter able to get off? I've talked about this. Dexter was a disappointment. The same things that I was concerned with on his college tape showed up in his first live action versus an opponent. Chicago Bears versus the Titans. I didn't like it. The hits philosophy is my philosophy. I don't call it the hits. You don't walk on the freaking field. You just don't. When we're playing a game, there's 30 seconds you need to sprint. That's your mindset. 30 seconds. Go out there, play the game full on for that time. Chris Caporali. Hopefully I said it right. It's the Italian. What position do you see the priority after the first preseason game? It's very difficult right now to see. I think they got a lot of good things to work with. When we peel back the layers, obviously this backup quarterback position is the number one. Because I saw some real good things out there. Saw some real good things there. No one really stood out as a punt returner yet. Well, I thought Tyler Scott came in there in the second half and caught the ball and really played very good, confidently in traffic, caught the ball. So I wouldn't say that. Tyler Scott played a good job. Jeremy Ford. I don't understand why the coaches don't make big moves in preseason to see how guys look against the 1s and 2s. Well, you do that. I hope you do that. Again, this is why I chant performance over politics. This is why there's a Wes Welker, a Wayne Corbett, John Randall. These guys that are undrafted that come in there are late round picks that come in there and play better than someone you thought or perceived in your scouting department to be better, thus taking them higher. So you got to make those switches and call those things the correct way. Hopefully they get it right. You could see what a difference DJ Moore is going to make to this football team. Does anybody trust Velus Jones? Green Bay, week 1, games tied up. You just sacked Love. at his own 3 and they're lining up the punt? Are you putting Bayless back there? That's what you gotta ask your coaching staff. Like, come on. There's no excuses here. 29 was impressive. Absolutely. He was impressive. Bayless, a lot of Bayless. Bojack. Yep, he got faked and stiff-armed. Jim Miller was in mid-season form for Shane Marsaw, incorrectly calling Pickens a defensive end on that stunt when he was clearly a defensive tackle. What a great maneuver he made to explode, deliver the blow, and then came ripping through. I mean, how can I skip over Trevis Gibson? I mean, to see a player be humbled is what I've talked about. Sometimes you gotta humble them. Will this staff do that to some of the players they've drafted? That's my question. Because if they do, now they got the right formula. Something the mom and pop shop Chicago Bears have not had since Ditka. I'm sorry, they just haven't. They haven't had the pride to say football first. Football first. Oh, you can't say that. You can't. How do you know? I'm watching players be put aside for other players that have higher contracts or higher potential or higher draft selections. That's how. Play the best. You'll reap the rewards of that. So the same thing of paying Cole Kmet and sending that message in the locker room, you'll get the same reward back when you get a young guy that was undrafted starting over somebody who was higher picked. You're going to reap those rewards. Look who's here. Let's bring him out.
Hey.
You made it.
Barely. Fuck, bro.
Barely.
Non-stop. I was like Travis Bell hustling my fucking ass off out there.
Oh, yes. I love Travis Bell, man. Oh, my God.
I don't tell the authorities, but I may have been glancing down at my phone a little bit while I was on the road. I was by myself. No kids were involved.
Right, that's from the record.
Yeah. But no, you like to see him come out there. Not only did he make a play, he got very excited about it. And you could see the side. You know, it told me a lot there, Phil. Not anything on the field. We knew the passion that he played with. Did you see Justin Jones' reaction?
Oh, yes.
That means that he's having an impact. That means that he's having an impact within the locker room. I
totally agree. How could he not? I mean, your GM goes out there and praises this kid post-draft.
Yeah.
Right? And Shane, it wasn't one play. It was like 4 plays. This kid sheer on hustle and power. If you give me that, shit, we got a lot to work with. I can make you a ball player. And you're 100% right. To see Justin Jones' reaction and excitement for this young kid is just
it says a lot. I mean, it wasn't just a cursory, the kid made a play. It was, no, they see something. Listen, the vets know. The vets know who can play. If they didn't give a shit, or if Travis Bell was an asshole, or if he wasn't out there trying all the time, these guys would just be, chucking sunflower seeds in their mouth on the sideline and wouldn't give a shit. But no, that to me is what stood out, was Justin Jones' reaction. That is a big deal to me. Little things like that matter 100%. And the obviously I wasn't home for the game, but just looking over some of the, the highlights and stuff like that, I'm not saying that because I'm not there. The Travis Gibson stuff, I'm sure you talked about it, but
yeah,
these guys sometimes think they're a little bit more important than they are, and if they don't take the little things serious, that's what gets you put on a depth chart as fourth string.
This is what I pray, Shane. Before you got here, I said, I don't want this to be because he was a Ryan Pace guy that they did.
You don't want it to
be universal.
You don't want it to turn into a Mark Anderson versus Alex Brown.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, I understand it, but I just think that
he was the best player on the field.
My point though, Phil, is where I will push back against that is this is more than a 1 versus 1. You know, you go away from Dominique Robinson, even Travis Gibson. My guy Terrell Lewis today made an impact. You know, it's a guy that we've talked about.
Tremendous today.
And I think it's important to point out that Dominique Robinson gets a lot of hype, but let's not forget he's still very early in his football process as a defensive end. Not too long ago, he was a wide receiver. You know, we gotta let that part
I just
come
think
into it. And don't forget, everybody's gonna get pushed down a notch when Walker is back and Ngakoue starts playing. So everybody's going to be pushed down. Some guys are going to be pushed down, 2 spots. So, but we talked about Terrell Lewis, man. The only thing we talked about it a couple of weeks ago. I know when you were out, the only thing holding him back is staying healthy. He's not a linebacker. You put him out there and say, "Go get the quarterback." You saw what happened today.
He was that at Alabama when we loved him there, and he's a bender. He can get to that edge, and you saw it. And I think we always say this, and competition brings out the best. Who rises to the occasion? Sometimes in the doldrums of practice, you could be one thing, but when you start playing these games and you just can't look past what Gibson was doing. And it wasn't like Gibson wasn't doing this shit last year. It was like he was a step late, or he missed the sack. He was just there. In Dallas alone, he had 3 fucking sacks he could have. He had a hat trick, and he missed every one of them.
Yeah.
Hands on deck. This is a wake-up call for him. This is a great step for him. Keep building off of this. Your career. Go ahead.
Just to address this, I don't give a shit who he was. He came from Kennesaw State. The guys that he was playing against there are 12th stringers in the NFL. And there's not even such a thing. It's when you get your shot, you go out there and you make an impact. And he did. And like I said, it goes beyond that. When you're called upon, go out and make a play. And the impact goes beyond the stat. Look at the sideline. He's making an impact with his teammates, which means when he gets out there, when he's in practice, when he's in the classroom, he's taking it all serious. He's shutting his mouth as a rookie and doing his job. That's the number one. Phil, you've been around it way more than I have as a coach. You don't want to hear some guy that's, never done anything come in and just start chirping and talking to vets and talking down to vets. And you don't want that. Travis Bell's doing exactly what he did. He got a rep. He went in there and he made an impact. And he got another tackle for a loss beyond that.
The other thing is, like, right there, what Vincent said, you can't control. Like, do you do it? That's it. You do it, and it's there on the field. That's where you learn from it. And that's where Travis Bell's performance, to me, again, I said this to begin the show, there's no way these talking heads and these other shows, which they will, well, it's only preseason. You can't just bypass 9 sacks when you could.
Phil,
you have 9 all last season, right?
You had the Bears had 40% of their total sack volume from last year. They had 40% of it today.
There you go.
And it's preseason game number 1, but I'm just, you see what you're talking about leading. You see it with the passes that Justin Fields had today. It's like, he's got to, they got to have big plays in the passing game. Well, they went out, they had big plays in the passing game, and yes, they weren't air yards. I understand. Who gives a fuck?
Are they going into Tom Brady's touchdowns and
touchdown?
How many of them were 3-yard passes?
Right.
That doesn't mean Shane.
Yeah.
I opened the show. They lined up in the eye.
Right.
And they ran heavy pass. And they looked for the deep shot, and it wasn't there. And Justin did exactly what you need to do and checked it down to Blazing Game. He turns up the field and gets 9 or 11 yards, whatever it was.
Yep.
That's what it should be.
Yeah, you want to see that check down. That's what that's what you should. If it's not there, check it down to a guy that can blow up a couple people on his way. And
Exactly.
It's simple.
Take what the defense is giving you.
Right.
I love you, Debo. Thank you. I love all of you. Except Google user. He was a little pussy.
Oh, sometimes it happens. You know. Everybody wants to be a superhero in the chat.
Exactly.
He tuned into the show and saw that I wasn't here to check him. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Performance over politics. Exactly what we preach here. I hope they build off of this. Obviously, there's going to be standout. And then next week, you hope to see those same players stand out. You're not looking for the same sack numbers. I don't know how many defensive linemen, how many pressures Trevis had. Maybe Jared or one of you guys that is in the chat, Cam, Bill, Bullets. Trevis Gibson not only played the pass really well, but he also played the run damn near perfect. I mean, he put a rip move on that offensive tackle that is just textbook. He delivered the blow, came underneath it, and ripped into the C gap and just destroyed the play in the backfield. That shit just should not go overlooked at all. Again, we're here never for narratives. Never for narratives. I don't care what a Google user tells you. My truth, I'm not signing Dexter off. I'm just telling you exactly what I was concerned with. It was a little bit even worse on his first game. Now he's got to decide to get better. He's huge. You could tell who he is out there. He's big. Now he's got to stay low. That's up to the coach. Help him out. He's standing right up. He becomes, just look at an expo marker on a whiteboard, right? Let's look at the expo marker standing straight up. Is easy move. Low, not so easy to move. That's all I want to see from Dexter. He certainly ain't a fucking 3 technique. I'll tell you that. Them doing that, Alan Williams and their defensive line coach, just please. That's just not where he should be. I hope to see better from him. The other, obviously, Shane, was Valus. Did you get to see?
I didn't see it, but I mean, Phil, my thoughts. I know he stepped up a little bit, at the end of last season, but you worry at this point, and maybe you touched on this already, but you worry, is it completely mental? You have to have football smarts at some point. And I mean, if Valus isn't going to be your punt returner, what's Valus going to do? Then he's a part-time gadget player. And as pedestrian as Dante Pettis is, give me Dante Pettis back there all fucking day long over Valus. The upside isn't there in terms of the explosive plays as a punt returner, but I'm not going to have the mental gaffes that can dictate the outcome of a game.
Especially on special teams. I mean, you're not talking about a 10-yard turn of events. You're talking 40, 50. You lost 2 games last year. Now, granted, hindsight, we got the first overall pick. But again, in those moments, you don't want to see losses due to dumb decisions, right?
No, and you can't. What makes it worse is he's a player that was clearly overdrafted. Clearly. We said it at the time.
Yes.
We've pretty much maintained that you hold out your glimmer of hope that the positive plays that he made towards the end of the year, but let's not forget the first time he touched the ball in OTAs this year, he bobbled the ball. And then first time when the I don't want to call it the bright lights, but preseason comes on, boom, Velus refers back to what Velus does most of the time.
Shane, you're 100% right. You are the smartest man. I don't give a shit what any other show tries to say. This right here, I'm listening to, and this was a nugget, Shane, that I was going to share with our patrons, but I'm going to share it here on Bears Hour Live, the first one of the season. I was listening to Jeff Joniak talk to Andrew Billings as I was driving up to see my parent up to Rhode Island, and there was a question about Javon Dexter. I'm paraphrasing it, but he was talking to Billings about what would you tell him? And he goes, and you'll have to hear it because it's in there somewhere. He goes, I tell him to get off the rock. Something like that. So it's clearly a known thing, as Ben is talking. You caught it at draft day about hustle, and you could see he got gassed today. Again, it's his first game. No way am I calling him a bust. Don't get it twisted. If you're going there, I'm just telling you it wasn't a good performance. It causes me to have concern because he's standing straight up and getting pushed back. Did he make a couple plays? Yeah, he made a couple plays. Guess what? They all made a couple plays. You can't ever argue the tape. It'll show you. Sanborn, Shane. He looked in the right spots, couldn't keep his footing. I thought he did a pretty good job, actually. I saw.
Yeah, but I mean, he's been a guy. Listen, I understood the Bears wanting to improve the overall depth at linebacker, and I still maintain if Sanborn is your third or fourth linebacker on a good team, on a great team, that's awesome. But you got to give him the benefit of the doubt. He's earned it with his play last year. This is his first time, with live action, getting back into the having an entire offseason when you can't do what you do normally. It's going to take you some time. You're going to be a little bit slow to react. You're going to lose your footing a little bit more than you're used to. So you want to see that improvement next week from him also. But this is what the anti-Bears part of it is, Phil, is that you're not waiting to see what's next if he can't go. Noah Sewell is there.
Noah Sewell did a great job today. I'll tell you, instinctive, physical,
and he fits that fucking number in that jersey. I did see one of the play. He is a physical kid, just like Sanborn is too. So no, I'm
Sanborn had a great play. He had to react and come back because it was a counter. So people were talking about his false step. Yeah, they all did. If you look at him, when Sanborn came back, put his face in there and made the play. So was he perfect? No. He's also playing Sam, linebacker. So we'll see. Again, I didn't say anything in my head of saying, oh, Sanborn stunk. I didn't see it like that. I like the linebacker core. I felt like the refs screwed us over. Edwards got held on their first touchdown. That was definitely a hold because you got the corner, then you ripped him back. So once you prevent a player from being able to get to their position of contain, that's a hold. You impeded. That's the definition. So they called the flag, Shane, and then they picked it up.
Yeah.
So they did the right call only to pick it up, and that was the wrong. And then the Stevenson, my bear up this week was, pre to the game. He's a baller, bro. There is
well,
Terrell
that's
Smith and him.
Listen, if you're playing the star position at Georgia and then you're transferring to the U, you're not going to back down to anything, and that's who he is. You can see it just the way with the kid carries himself, and I mean, just he almost looks standing on the sideline. He almost looks like he's built like a fucking linebacker. It's crazy, you know. When you look at him, you don't say, "Oh, that's a cornerback right there."
I will give him a negative grade. He should have caught that ball. I know it's a hard play, but you got to catch it, man. That's a big time player making. That's where you make your name. That's where the big time players difference between winning and losing, catching and dropping the football.
Paul, we're not jumping to conclusions with Velus. I'm not sure. Maybe you didn't see any of the 17 games played last year, but I would urge you to go back and watch some of them and watch what Velus did there in terms of his special teams play, especially. I don't think you're going to like it.
The reality, there's a lot of things to, there's a lot of players, number one, that are going on. So you guys in the chat, led by Daniel Perez, he's like, come on, smash the effing like button. He's right. But you guys in the chat throwing your opinions and your questions in there are making for a fun preseason Bears Hour Live. We'll be in Bears Hour Live form next week when the Bears go play the Colts next Saturday night. Shane, we'll be here.
Yes, we will be.
Bears versus Colts. I also want to point out Cairo Santos making every field goal an extra point, and a great job by the punter today,
Trenton Gill.
Punk God, placing it down inside the 10-yard line and doing a really good job with his punt. So special teams played well. I want to note Rashawn Johnson and what's his name? The other Jones. 31. What's Jalen Jones on special teams.
Mm-hmm.
Doing a great job on specials. Rashawn Johnson, you can already see flying down the football field.
I don't know how you cannot be sold on Cairo Santos. I mean, he missed some extra points. How much? What is he at? Like 93% in his career as a Chicago Bear? What do you want? 94? I don't understand it.
I don't know.
Because he's not kicking a 70-yard field goal. I mean, okay.
I'm going to answer some of these other things. Rashawn Johnson looks the part. There was physicality. There's one run, I think it's in the fourth quarter. Yes. They're going this way. So he breaks an arm tackle in the backfield, plants, cuts it up, and just showcases great physicality going up the field. We didn't get to see enough of Deonta Foreman, but I could see his physicality. I didn't get to see enough of Khalil Herbert besides the no one touch you screen pass. But I will say the guy that I thought really instinctively twitchy, looked better than I thought, was Travis Homer. And there's some things you talked about this guy this past week, and I want to say
he was my pair up.
What you were saying about him showed up for me. Now he's going to be pissed because there's one. I think he'd have been off to the races. He gets shoestring tackled and twisted like awkwardly. The kid catches him at a point when he's about to break it on a cutback, but to get to that cutback and show his instincts and his burst was very impressive. It jumped off the screen for me. So I think all the backs, I don't have any complaints about any of the backs today. I think they all played really well. So Homer, want to see you run through that tackle, but I really saw a lot of great things from them. So that's where the backs are, Shane. A lot of talk this week is going to be about the depth chart, the preseason
I thought
goes
you
to
were going
the
to say a
final.
lot of the talk was going to be about Facebook user not accepting the terms over at StreamYard.com/Facebook. One of them is bullets. I just looked it up online. If you are watching us on Facebook, head over to StreamYard.com/Facebook. Accept the terms so we can see your name.
Oh, I forgot about Ebner. Ebner continues.
Got hurt. Yeah.
Yeah, he's just I don't know what he is. I haven't seen it from Ebner, and now he's hurt again. So what I was saying about before, Shane, with the Facebook user, which is straight, and it's the truth, go over there, bottom here, StreamYard.com, Facebook, so we can see who you are and not just a Google user, an abuser. We will see who you are. The other thing is that the final cut down is at the end of camp. So it's everybody gets the cut. There's no one cut, then the final cut. It's just
and you are sitting at the mountaintop with the #1 waiver claim. So anybody that you want, you will have first priority with out of all the other football teams, the 31 other teams. There's one player out there that gets waived, you can pounce, and nobody else can get him.
The Bears own that right till what, week 4, you said?
Yeah, it's right around there. It's right around week 4, 5, 6, right in that range.
Bears got 9 sacks today, Tonic, and whoever analyst is going to poo-poo that. As Shane said, it's 40% of what they got last season in one game, and this is where you want to see it. You want to set the tone. I said this. All these other groups and shows and networks, I don't know. I don't really watch anybody else's stuff. All I know is this. We won't create a narrative here. What my expectation of the Chicago Bears was for today was fulfilled. To come out there as the coach, the team is a reflection of you. Those kids went out there, those guys, and played their butts off. And that's a tip of the cap to Coach Eberflus. That's what I wanted to see. Tackling, toughness, tenacity, determination, all of it was on display there. And if anybody's poo-pooing 9 sacks, it's just preseason. It's just playing against guys that are going to work at McDonald's next week. Well, those guys are trying to fucking make the team too. They got a job too. So to go out there and showcase a personality and toughness and those traits is the only way you get better. You don't get better by sucking and get no sacks. You don't get better by getting bullied and pushed around. The way you get better is setting the goddamn tone and getting this football team to where it's supposed to be. So if Justin throws 3 yards for an 80-yard touchdown or 45, it doesn't fucking matter because at the end of the day, it's 6. And that's the reality.
What do you think the headlines in the Chicago Tribune tomorrow would be if Justin went 0 for 3 with 2 interceptions and the Bears had no sacks? Then it would matter.
Exactly.
But when you do it positively, then it's just preseason. So it's the media, it's meathead Bears fans having their cake and eating it too. So there's really a no-win, no matter what you do.
Well, we will always do the right thing here. So that's what you want, John, at work. If you want the bullshit like this, Alan, you might be the greatest guy. I don't know. But for you to sit here and tell me the Bears would lose if they had Hopkins and Tannehill in the game, you don't know anything about football. That's not how it's played. It's a team game. And any given Sunday, you're not Miss Cleo. And guess what? She was a fraud too. God.
Yeah.
Thought the Bears played great today.
The Titans love Tannehill so much they've drafted a quarterback in the 2nd and 3rd rounds the past 2 drafts. So let's just pump the brakes on shit like that. Preseason game number 1. It's not a regular season game. NFL, anything can happen. Just you can't make statements like that and just say, well, if these guys would have played, well, what would have happened if DJ Moore played the whole game? What would have happened if Chase Claypool played? What would have happened if Tremaine Edmonds played? What would have happened if all of our guys that were inactive that are starters played? I mean, but yeah, fuck it. Let's not talk about that. Let's just spout negative bullshit.
Listen, Solo, the eye test grade for me was an A. I think you as Bears fans deserve the truth. My expectation was they were going to come out here and make a lot of mistakes and not play with the kind of aggressiveness and confidence that I saw today. It was over my expectation. To see them come out in the I formation and run action off of it and then run toss.
Is that the way they started the game?
Yes.
Oh,
they tried to go deep.
Did you fall off?
Heavy pass.
Fall off your couch?
I looked at my son. He's like, Dad, those are our formation. I go, that's right, buddy. And they went out there and did exactly what it's needed. Set the fucking tone. Build off that. The whole off season, if anything I've taken away from people sharing with me, whether it be Shapiro, Kenneth Davis, whoever, it's the Bears have been chatty on defense, right? They've been talking. Well, if you talk the talk, you better walk the walk, right? Today, the defense walked the walk. The referees helped them walk backwards a couple times. I will admit that. But the reality is the Chicago Bears, the culture, all of that on the opening day of preseason 2023, that's an A effort, man. That's an A effort. You can go B++ or whatever. But for me, I'm very happy with what I saw. And now you got to build on that next week. Travis Gibson has to build on that.
Travis Bell, all of them.
Yes, absolutely. And that's really what it's about. And I have always said, you and I have been the leaders of this marching band. Matt Nagy bubble wrapping his guys. We called it out. The other old network were poo-pooing. This is the modern day NFL, Phil. You don't know what the fuck. I know what the fuck I'm talking about. I know exactly what the fuck. And I was right every time. You go out there. A boxer has to fucking spar. You got to get punched in the mouth to be ready. Coach Eberflus is with me on this. Go out. Justin Fields should play a quarter next week. You don't worry about getting injured.
Next week is the dress rehearsal.
Big game, yes. Yeah. And that's what you do. And you get great reps this week. I know we got guys that are going to be at training camp. I'm sending Chris Sandlin, Ivan, and some other people over there. If you are going, Colts,
if you are a TTNL network patron, I'll put the link up here at the bottom, because if you're not, you should sign up. Where is it? See it there, Phil?
Oh,
yeah, right there. Head over to the tapeneverlies.com, because if you are a TTNL network patron, we are going to be giving you 4 tickets each day for both combined practices versus the
Colts. There you go.
So if you're a TTNL network patron, so the 16th and the 17th, you would have 4 tickets for the 16th, 4 tickets for the 17th. Those tickets are compliments of TTNL patron Kerry Franklin, who had them and cannot go. So he has offered them up. We're going to offer them up to another patron and their friends and family if they're able to go. So if you want a shot at those, head over to the tapeneverlies.com, sign up. I think you'll love all the content that we pump out over there. But we will be putting something up here shortly on our Patreon page for TTNL Network patrons to take advantage of that and have a chance to win those 8 tickets for the 2 days over in Indy. And that's going to be a plus practice, because it's actually a little bit better than a preseason game in a lot of ways, because you're going to be able to script plays and get, looks that you want to see, because these coaches are working with one another. So yeah, Bullets, you're up, man. It did work. So head over there, sign up, and get a chance at those tickets.
It's going to be a great season for you if you are a patron. Obviously, getting you ready for the season. I appreciate all of you patrons that have supported us and the positive energy our way, the Atoshans, and I can't thank you enough for the support you've shown the TTNL family in it above itself, all of us. So the coverage that you're going to get at the network is going to be, bar none, the best you're going to get, because there's no ulterior motive or things that shouldn't be said or keep it quiet. I'm going to show you, the network's going to show you the truth. And this is what is paramount to success. You want to get a new stadium? That's great. I want to get a championship trophy. That's better. So that's what this network's going to stand by. We react based on what we saw today. There was a lot of good things, and it's a really great way to start this 2023 season. Shane, your final thought here before we wrap up?
Onward and upward. We move on. We're on to game number 2. We're going to look everything over. I know I have to give it a once over and a second over a little bit later tonight, and I'll have more of my thoughts on it. So I'm looking forward to that. But like I said, we wanted to see some explosive plays by the Bears. We got to see that on offense and defense, and I think that is the biggest takeaway. If you're not a believer in the hits philosophy, I think you saw that play out today with some plays. So that to me is saying that the message is getting across.
Just want to reiterate, get over there, smash the like button, thetapeneverlies.com, become a patron. We're going to have many X's with the O's, Draft Dr. Phil's Tape Never Lies video series, Cards Keys, Kramer's QB School with former Bears quarterback Eric Kramer, and so much more. Pop-up shows, you guys getting special things, Q&As, live video of us watching Bears games, all of this stuff and more. Get over there, become a subscriber like Foster covers, and hopefully you enjoyed today's first pop-up Bears Hour live of the season. We'll have a new video intro next week with a new identity, and we will be ready to rock and roll for the smartest man, Shane Marsaw. I'm your guy, Draft Dr. Phil, on the Tape Never Lies Network. Thanks for jumping in and joining us on Bears Hour Live. Yes, yes. Where is the ender? There.
Thank you for watching Bears Hour Live, the best post-Bears game show on the planet, on the Tape Never Lies Network.